you can now see elements of his life, what he possessed. You have photographs and other information about Mustafa Barzani, and then you have domes that signify all three or three of the religions of Kurdistan: Islam, Christianity, Judaism. And then nearby is this very moving monument to the victims of the Barzani Anfal. And behind that, the very simple graves to those who were murdered by Saddam in the 1980s, the 8,000. And for me, it was very personal because I remember going to Kuzatepe just after the uprising in 1991 and seeing these women, who had become middle-aged or older, holding up pictures of young men who had been their husbands, and simply they had disappeared without any trace. And now the remains have been found and they've been put to rest. So the overall impression is really extremely impressive, and I was very honored to have been invited to participate. Here you had Mustafa Barzani, who had been a rebel against the Iraqi state, who had been forced into exile because of the Iraqi state, who had led an uprising both for the rights of the Kurds for democracy against the Iraqi state. And now, at the opening of his museum, you have the president of Iraq, who is a Kurd. You have the prime minister of Iraq. You have the speaker of the parliament and the foreign minister, other ministers. So just the idea that in a country that viewed the Kurds as unwelcome, which engaged in a genocide against the Kurds, and which considered Mustafa Barzani as a rebel, that he now would be honored not just by the Kurds, of course that's logical, but that he would be honored with the presence of the three top leaders of Iraq. I should also say the defense minister was there. I was sitting next to him. And then, of course, you had all the gathering of the Friends of Iraq, of Kurdistan, the Friends of Kurdistan, people who have, been with the Kurds for a very long time. My friend Bernard Kouchner, who is foreign minister of France, he's first came to Kurdistan in 1972. I first came in 1984, and there were so many others who have been part of this history. It's certainly been the honor of my lifetime to be part of this history. And so it was just a wonderful gathering. For me, it was a wonderful gathering of people that I've known for decades. And to see this all taking place was, again, very impressive. Well, you have to appreciate just how much has been accomplished since Mustafa Barzani's death. He died in 1979. He was in exile. In the next decade after he died, you had the Anfal, you had every village in Kurdistan systematically destroyed. And starting in 1991, there was basically nothing. And look at what Kurdistan has built once it achieved genuine self-government, because it's been really de facto independent since 1991. So finally, Kurds governing themselves in Kurdistan, along with the other communities, Christians, Yazidis, some Arabs, have built something incredible. These cities, which are almost unrecognizable, modern cities, Sulaymaniyah, Erbil, Dahak, and Barzan, 16 times now built. And all of this is because Kurdistan is no longer a troublesome colony of Iraq, but it is a self-governing people in a self-governing region. It's almost completely independent. And of course, I believe sooner or later, Kurdistan will become an independent state. I would think that would happen in the next 10, 20 years. Well, President Masoud Barzani has achieved so much, and I'm sure one day there will be a very important museum to honor him, as he should be, as the person who really has implemented what his father dreamed about, which is to say he has created a modern, independent, secure Kurdistan. It is a remarkable achievement. Again, when I first met him, everything was destroyed. The Kurdish cause looked hopeless. And since then, from utter devastation to building a state that is the region that is the most prosperous, successful part of Iraq, and what is an independent state that or a state that will someday soon become independent, that is the rival of what's been achieved in places like the Gulf. And President Masoud Barzani is the person who has made so much of this happen. I mean, there are many other people who have participated, and we also have to think of those the Peshmerga who sacrificed their lives, and leaders like my friend Sami Abdul Rahman who gave his life for Kurdistan, and there's so many others. But look at what's been achieved. Well, I think the survival of a de facto independent Kurdistan region is assured, and the United States considers Kurdistan to be one of its closest friends in this entire region. It's the one reliable ally. It's the one ally that is capable militarily. It's a place that is maybe the one place that is wholeheartedly pro-American, and that is appreciated. And I think what also was appreciated was the words that President Masoud Barzani said yesterday about reaching out, solving the problems with the rest of Iraq, and thanks to the work of Prime Minister Masroor Barzani, a lot of progress has been made on some difficult issues, including oil. President Masoud Barzani talked about reaching out to the PUK, which of course has been a partner in building an independent Kurdistan, and its leader, Jalal Talabani, was also a legendary figure of Kurdistan. So there was a reconciliation, and what America wants to see is for Kurdistan and for the two main Kurdish parties and the other Kurdish parties to put their differences aside, as President Barzani said, and focus on building Kurdistan. America is most interested in places that where the leaders themselves are intent on success. And that's what America's always liked about Kurdistan. Unlike the rest of Iraq, which has been chaotic, Kurdistan's been solid. And the idea of the two political parties getting together, solving their differences in the interest of Kurdistan is something America very much wants to see. Well, thank you for this opportunity to speak, and we wish you a very pleasant evening. Well, thank you.